warm one.
Oh, I figured it out.
This is a $10 an hour job that he should be paying you for.
Yes, I agree.
Let me know how that works out for you.
Oh, no, not that.
Just wait until he gets his permit.
He will be my third person to do so. Just fucking prepared. All right.
Got 2 brake pedals on one side of the car.
What the hell that was?
You know that's illegal unless you're a driver's ed teacher.
Let's hope he's ready. Oh, God.
All right. Is that recording?
It's flashing.
Probably.
All right. It's okay. So I don't have anything. So we're going to create a directory on the fly, and I'm going to this is about AI, so it's going to call it AI, but we'll just call it something. Steve, say a word. Easy to spell word with 3 letters. Fly.
Some magic trick is you have to just say that.
Okay.
So I created an index.js file, but that's it. I do trust this author. Don't need that. Here's a terminal. I really didn't want to type, so I'm gonna open up Chrome. And what we're going to look at, if nobody's seen it, the first thing I'm going to show you is called GitHub Copilot. It is, so it turns out it's built on top of this thing called GPT-3, which is from an organization called OpenAI, who seem to be really good people, but I think maybe somebody was hinting at it earlier, like Microsoft has invested heavily into them, and there's a lot of questions about what's going to happen there. And I had seen, don't look at my work stuff. I had certainly seen GitHub Copilot, like there was a beta and you could get invited to it, and I think it's pretty wide now. I don't know if it's still in beta or not. And I added it to my code editor, and now it's just like, at first it was really annoying, but now it's just like part of my day. And I feel like it's a thing that you just have to get used to. Like I actually think that there's a good chance that a lot of our jobs are going to be dependent. Everyone here is a coder of some sort, JavaScript or otherwise, yes?
Yep.
A lot of your job eventually is going to be dependent not on some fancy like drag and drop UI. Like people have been trying to make that happen forever. There's a big push for that right now. We have a great company here in Chicago called DraftBit that it's all just drag and drop stuff to build, I think, React Native apps in the end. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's Reason apps, actually. But I actually think this is going to be a much better middle ground where we as coders can interact with this AI. We can have some tools that kind of build stuff for us, but we still are kind of in the driver's seat. So I didn't want to type because I have this butterfly keyboard on this MacBook, and I also get really nervous when I do presentations, and so I suck, especially at typing on this. So I just wrote a sentence, and that's going to be the basis of what I'm going to try to build. And I've kind of gone through this, and I've got very mixed results. But the idea is to write a program that builds a deck of cards and deals 5, and displays the hand of 5 cards. Right?
And Copilot's supposed to help you with that process.
And I don't want to type, so you come here.
Ooh.
So this guy's 14. He refuses to learn to code. I can't make him learn to code, but I asked him in the car on the ride over here, do you know how to paste? And he said yes. He also knows how to copy, apparently. So all you're going to type is / and then an asterisk first. Do that. Then an asterisk. And you're going to hit space. And then you're going to paste what I just copied. So let's go. I'm just going to back you up over here.
Yeah.
And now you see that stupid light bulb is in the way, but there's a completion there. It looks like it's just trying to complete my comment. So all you're going to do is hit tab. And you're going to hit enter 1 time. So I said create an array of playing card suits, colors, symbol emojis, and values. And now this isn't code yet. He has to accept this. And I think that's cool. So all you got to do is hit tab. And now hit enter.
So good at coding.
Yeah, this looks different than what I got earlier. But go ahead and hit tab. We'll accept that. And hit enter. Ugh, that's not what I wanted.
I'm sure those are
It's really not what I wanted, but that's okay. Hit tab. Accept it. But you hit enter one more time. This is questionably good. Go ahead and hit tab. Now go back up to the top line, use the arrows. Now delete the last two characters. And now just hover over the last two characters with the mouse. And you see where it says Open Copilot?
Yes.
Click on that. Well, you got it, yeah.
I see.
Hover states are tricky. You'll learn this. Don't worry, you're going to be a great programmer. So, in the settings for the Copilot extension, you can tell it. You have actually very few options, but one of them you can tell is like come up with so many options, and you can also tell it to not autocomplete. Just come up with the options, and I'll go look at them. And so I could accept its entire solution, but it's doing a lot more shit than I want it to do right now. But technically, I like the symbols here better. So I'm just going to grab that. All right, I'm not accepting its solution. I'm just coming over here and pasting it in. And the rest of it, I'm okay with. I would have rather had it do, and I'm not going to fix it right now, but instead of A, say A. I'm sure at the end of that line it probably says Jack, Queen, King, all spelled out, but whatever, I don't care. So that's all spelled out. Okay, so I'm just gonna add that guy back there. So this is all code, so we are good. All right, you are gonna type /**. So not only when I typed a command did it roughly do what I wanted it to do and come up with a bunch of ways for me, like I could go into that Open Copilot and show me the 10 things he came up with, and I could say I accept this one or that one or whatever. But now he just started a comment, and it's coming up with my commands. Like I didn't write that. This is an empty directory with one file. It has no access to anything else. It's just saying, is this what you're about to type? And it's not even code. I was going to give you another command, and it's like, you're about to ask me this, aren't you? So I think that sounds reasonable. So you're just going to hit tab, and you're going to hit enter. And you're going to hit tab. You're going to say you're accepting that line. You're going to hit enter. You're going to wait a second. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. This is just like a weird UI problem. I can already tell if, go ahead and hit tab. It's going to get fucking weird. So all you need to do, and you're going to have to do this later too, is just hit the thing that says accept tab. I don't know why.
I see.
All right, let's just assume that works. So we're going to scroll past that. So scroll down. Have you done this before? You wrote a lot of programs?
All the time.
Hit enter like 2 times. Just a little space. Now hit / and asterisk again. Wow, it was there when he typed the /. So we're going to need that. We're going to have to shuffle the deck. So hit tab, hit enter, hit tab, hit enter. You're going to have to do that hover and accept. But again, we'll just assume that this code is good. All right, now let's scroll down past that. All right, so we have, what was the one before this? Was it, so we got all this stuff, create deck, shuffle deck. So hit /, let's just let it figure it out. Function that will deal a card from the deck. I don't know if that's what we want. Like a card? Just deal one card? Yeah, you know what, that's fine. Because later we'll call it as many times as needed. Okay. Sure, it takes in the deck. Oh, it's one card, that's right. Yep, oh yeah, it's the deck, that's fine. Because we'll shuffle it before we send it in. So you're going to have to do the hover accept thing again. I know, programming is hard, man.
If 2 monkeys code often enough in one universe, they will make a program.
All right, /, and actually don't do the asterisk.
Wow.
We don't need a player. So this one, we don't need a player. I know we don't need a player. So what we need here is to deal a hand. So you're going to type, you're going to put an asterisk, and you're going to copy. That text isn't really there. I know this is hard for you, but it's not really there. You're going to have to type. You're going to type create a function that deals a hand. Jesus,
He
he's
can
like
deal better than you
fast.
can.
Oh,
Five cards.
You know what? Yeah, hit
Yeah.
tab. That's exactly what we want. Hit enter. God damn, I'm so proud of you. So you're going to hit tab. You're going to hit enter. And you're going to have to do the hover thing, but let's just assume that works.
wow.
And then now we just need one, because we want to be super lazy. I mean, it does return the hand. We could technically say, right now say create deck, shuffle deck, deal hand.
French or something. Yeah.
So that's what I want to say. I want to create a function that displays the hand in the console.
Ooh.
So let's try that. Hit enter. Hit enter. /. Holy shit. Okay, type that, but then at the end add in the console. I didn't know he could type this fast.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, there's
Don't, you know what? Leave it misspelled. Leave it misspelled.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Display the hand in the console. And then hit tab.
Oh,
This is the easiest demo I've ever done. Okay, hit tab.
enter.
Enter. You know what to do.
Yeah. Oh.
That's pretty nice.
And so we have create deck, deal card, which
Create
deal
shuffle
hand
deal.
calls that, and it's automatically 5. We could go back and we could change that statement and tell it to like take in the number. How many cards? You could, yeah, you know what? Fuck that. He doesn't believe us.
I believe it. Totally.
Go here
You would know why I didn't enter.
and change that 5 to just type NUM. And you know what? After cards, say from deck. And then delete that entire thing that starts with function deal hand. From there down to there. Delete that. Now hit tab. Oh, look, it starts. It's totally going to do it. Hit tab. Oh, you know, do the stupid hover thing.
Is it confused now?
I don't know why it happens.
No, but I mean,
No,
it's
now
not
hit
gonna-
enter.
they are- It's not going to give you the whole function.
Yeah, that's-
Oh,
Let's
well,
do it one by
whatever.
one.
Who
Interesting.
cares?
Huh.
Enter.
I'm feeling less
Tab.
powered now.
Impotent's the word you're looking for, Steve.
Probably
That's the word
tab.
you would be using, sir. Just saying.
Now you got to do the hover. Hover over that little white bracket down there,
Oh, I see.
and accept,
This
and
is-
enter,
It's going to be real
and
work.
do it again. The hover thing.
Hover.
It's only going to be 2 more lines.
Accept.
Yep, and then enter,
Enter.
and then the hover thing.
Hover thing. You're so good at coding.
All right, you're good. So now, we have deal hand, display hand. Okay, so just go to the very bottom
Very bottom.
and type. Was it create deck? Was that what it was called?
Asterisk.
I
Just
think
type
it's
CRE.
C-R-E.
Yeah, and then click on create deck. Hit. So that's a completion. Hit tab.
Tab.
Hit enter. Start typing.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
That's
Just hit
actually
tab.
what you
Just
want.
hit tab. That's done. Hit enter. hit tab.
Oh,
Hit enter.
Smarter than you.
Hit tab.
oh, man.
Hit enter. Hit tab. All right, now click down where it says fly,
Okay.
right in front of it. Right? Yeah, right there. Now type node, N-O-D-E, space, and there's this really cool thing called Fig now that does auto completion, like Visual Studio Code style auto completion inside any terminal.
What?
It's solid. Like it can look up brew commands. You can say brew install, and it just brings up like everything that's in brew.
Whoa.
And it does all this auto completion. Like if you're trying to CD in the stuff, it has like GitHub plugin or Git plugins, all sorts of cool stuff. All you need to do is hit enter, and then hit enter one more time.
Man.
Good enough, right?
Ship it.
I would go back and say I want to see the symbols and all that stuff, but good enough. So you just wrote a whole program that creates a deck of cards, shuffles it, deals 5 hands, and or,
Do it again. That's-
hit
that's-
up
come on,
inside
keep-
a fly. Like
keep
just hit up,
testing.
hit enter.
Should give us
There you go.
different hand.
Random. Do it again. Up. Enter.
Likes twos.
It
It does like
twos.
twos.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. We broke out of it.
Back in.
So,
Came back with vengeance.
so that's Copilot.
That's
All right,
pretty
you're
impressive.
good. I think you're good. You might be right back. Hold on.
So good.
Stay nearby.
Well done, Banner.
See, that was way better than I thought this product was.
I told you
I'm pretty wild.
I had to do nothing. So I just want to show you very briefly, and I think I'm good on time, right? That's been about. So, I don't know.
Depends how long you want Steve to talk for.
All right, I'm going to be quick here. Okay, so there is a thing called GPT-3. It's made by a company called OpenAI. They have all these cool examples you can use with their different engines. All of this stuff over here on the right is like you can choose the different engines. You can read up on what all of these different things mean, temperature and responsive, all the documentation for it. It is in beta. You do have to sign up for it. But I think that the fact that I have access to it means probably it's not that hard to get access to. Like, I don't know anyone there or anything. I just signed up for a thing. And they were like, here you go. And so you can interact with all these engines. There's like, let me just see if there's a good example. I just want to be kind of quick with classification. So this is almost like priming it. You know, this is a list of companies and the categories they fall in. And then all of these are like examples. Like, these are the categories they fall into, and then the prompt here is FedEx, right? So it's thinking, and it comes up with that. Somebody name a company that has very few letters in it. Huh?
BBC.
All right, so that is the prompt. So cool, right? Is it smart? I don't know. Does it have a database? I don't know. I don't think it really does, though. I think this is actually AI stuff. And while the thing I'm going to show you in a second is a little bit different than this because it's somewhat secret, it's really one of these engines with a very specific set of settings and probably primed with a lot of information, not like this simple list. The little example we went through just now with ransom here, you really don't know what you're going to get. You can't type the same thing and expect to get the exact same information over and over and over. And I was just using it recently, or I wasn't using it on purpose, but I was trying to figure out the best way to allow somebody with a little library that I have to create a rounded rectangle, and I wanted them to be able to round each individual corner the way they wanted it to. And I know this is obviously a super simple thing in CSS, but if you try to look up like, hey, give me the CSS algorithm for border radius, you can't actually find it anywhere. So I tried to do it with a command in my own library called C, which was a cubic curve. And then I was like, maybe I'll change it to an arc. And I actually just commented out my line of code that was, it was a pipe of code. So it was .c, which was preceded by a bunch of lines, and I had a bunch of lines after it. I just commented that out, and I wrote .a, and it had looked through my source code and fucking wrote out it wrote out the code that I was about to figure out, which is based on code I had already written. It knew what attributes I needed to pass into this function before I did, because it was reading all my code. And it 100% worked, and I felt really guilty about it, because I was about to sit down and do some hard geometry math, and it just did it for me. And you know, you're gonna have to be okay with that shit. You're gonna have to let go, because the stuff I just showed you, it's not going to get worse. It's not going to get worse. It's going to get better and better and better. And so I think as engineers, as software engineers, it's part of our job is going to become, I'm the best at telling the AI to do what you want it to do. Like, I know how to talk to it properly. Like, we just went through a super simple example, but all of that probably could have been generated from one or two statements. And there's a thing called Pony code that writes unit tests for you. You just say, test this code, and it starts writing example tests, and you say, that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one, and it just generates the test for you. It's crazy. All right, so.
What happens if you put PSC as the company?
Good question.
PSC Group.
It doesn't exist anymore.
No, there's so many peer. No, one more. Yeah, sure.
Happy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
No.
LLC makes you a conglomerate, apparently.
Peer.
It's LLC, obviously, a
Yeah,
conglomerate.
there are lots and lots of
Yeah,
PSCs.
it's, I mean, I'm sorry.
Try Netrix then.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that them?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we done?
Oh, I don't know. What company do you work for? How badly do you want to embarrass yourself?
Not even a little bit. And I've gotten this far without doing so. All right, so there's this thing called the Codex series, and technically, Codex is, and all of this stuff has an API. Like all of this, you can post stuff to and get responses. You can build software around it. And right now, it's all free for people who have access to it. It's going to cost money. But this is, so Codex is actually one of those engines with a set of very specific settings on the temperatures and response lengths and all the stuff it's allowed to do. And that's what the GitHub Copilot is built on top of. The GitHub Copilot, my understanding, is AI that has access to every single repository that is public on GitHub. You can go find a gist or something and type in some of the code that you see in that gist. You can go find, like, you can say, like, create tic-tac-toe game and, like, see somebody's copyright in the code it starts writing. Like, it's clearly just said, yeah, I know this guy who wrote a GitHub game, it's public, so, or a tic-tac-toe game and it's public on GitHub, so here you go. So you get some interesting stuff, but it is intelligent. It's not just delivering information from its catalog of data. So this thing is different than the Copilot, but works. I mean, it's fun. So,
I have a question.
yeah.
My understanding with the Copilot though was that it has access if you sign up for it. No, I thought it was like it'll have access to your.
No. It has
just
access. So the code that you're working on, it has access to that
Automatically.
while you're using it. But I'm saying as a primer. So when you look at the OpenAI APIs, not only can you say like, hey, I want to use this engine, I want to have this temperature and whatever all that shit means, you can also prime it with some information, kind of like what we did with the little business classification thing. Like all that stuff that preceded it kind of primed it so you understand something. So you could teach it like Morse code or something and try to get it to guess what the next thing is. So that priming is all of GitHub. It already has all of GitHub public.
I thought it was like people who sign up for it, though their code would have access. Everybody's.
It's everything.
Oh, really?
It's everything.
Anything public.
Anything public.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you
the
don't
GitHub
even have to
Copilot
sign up
knows
for it.
about
Your stuff's already on there.
If it's public.
The fundamental
Yeah.
problem I have in my world is that the code that I write, or the code that any corporate enterprise writes, if this is copy.
This is my personal machine.
Right, yeah. The code that you're creating,
My work
it's
machine is way different.
transferring
I
it
would never
to their
boss me.
servers to run the AI on, because the AI isn't running locally, the AI is running on their servers. Is that correct? And there is absolutely no way that any corporation is going, sure, you can, somebody else, who the hell are you, take all my code and understand what the hell I'm doing. I mean, that is just a security nightmare.
Oh
waiting to happen.
yeah. And the thing I was talking about, pony code, I think I actually did like a cool shit that's happening on the internet, and I showed the pony code thing at one point, and that was like a big point of it. It was like their like little user agreement is scary as shit. With GitHub Copilot, like that's buried down somewhere. They don't really put that up front. Pony code tells you right up front, like, hey, in order to give you this service, we have to read all the code that you want us to automatically do stuff with. So it raises, I mean, technically what you could do, and I did this for a work project. It was real stupid, but I wanted to play with GitHub Copilot. All I needed to do is take a JSON file. It was this really large file, and I wanted to generate per key on the root of the object a new file with that file name. So if the object is A and then it's got a whole bunch of shit in it, and then B and it's got a whole bunch of shit, I want a file called AJSON and BJSON. It was a lot bigger than that. And I spent like 20 minutes constructing the perfect statement to get it to write the 12 lines of code that it needed to write. And it was a little weak on the, no matter what I did, it was a little weak on the error checking, but it was worthwhile. It would have taken me that long anyways, not really, but it wrote the function. I feel like it's worthwhile to learn to talk to the artificial replacement so that you can later tell people, I am the best at getting it to do what you want it to do. Because that's what's going to happen.
Well, it's just like being really good at Googling stuff now, right?
Yeah.
Because software developers, most of your time is spent Googling stuff.
Right. So, but you just skip all that and say, like,
Yes.
do all the Googling
Make
for me, read Stack Overflow for me, find the best answer, and binary tree it up, baby.
Once they figure it out and sell it as a service that you can install in your own tenant, then you can basically control the keys and access it, and they basically sell it as a service you can manage yourself, then it's absolutely mainstream.
I'm typing make a 50 by 50 difficult ball.
Working.
That's
pretty good.
Yeah, whatever. That's fine.
It shows
Okay.
red.
Wow.
Because everyone wants a red ball.
I hope you like red.
Red, round. Fair enough. Right. All right. So I've tried this a bunch of times. It doesn't always work.
Make it bounce.
Make it bounce is actually easy. You can say make it bounce, and it'll. I don't know. Let's. I can undo it too. That didn't work. That's okay. That was his idea. He's brilliant. All right.
So you can make JavaScript elements with HTML. So like it hasn't done it to the point where you can make pure HTML elements or CSS.
Well, this is the Codex JavaScript sandbox, not the Codex HTML sandbox.
Oh, there is
all right?
one for that?
No, I think this is the one and only thing that I have access to. So, you know, you come up and type. Because we might have to reword this.
Wow, $20 an hour.
All right. So what I want to do is I just want to move it 1 pixel based on arrow keys. You just type that. Say make it move 1 pixel. What do you want? 1 px.
Next to each other?
Sure.
Yeah, px space with the arrow keys. We'll just try that. I'd be fucking blown away if this worked.
Yes.
Oh.
All right, so what you gotta do is you gotta click on the ball so that we have focus there. And now click on it 1 time. And now hit the down arrow key. Something's missing. Oh!
Visualize it?
I know it's missing. All right, I can see it right now. All right, but I want to copy this because that works so well. So I'm copying that. We're going to be done in just a minute, Steve. All right. And now, okay, I copied that. You see that? That's there. So you don't have to type that again. But you do have to type something else. Say, position it absolutely at 0, 0. And then hit the little green arrow thing, the button. Okay, now paste in the thing that we lost before. Okay. Or that we did before. Hit the thing. Hit the thing. It wasn't in position before. So that
Oh, it needs to be
so
in
this
full
this
position,
this plus parse ball style left is undefined. All right, now click on it. Now press the down arrow. Ooh,
Damn.
come on. That's. I mean, how far away are we from making Pac-Man or brand new Minecraft? I mean, this is how engineering's going to happen. Like, just make this happen. It's Tony Stark in his little room with his 3D virtual hologram saying, add this, now print it.
Please. Does Mike know about this, and can you show him? Because I would love to be able to see
Yeah.
what he could do with it.
Yeah. I think there's a future in writing code that writes these statements.
Draw me a map to France
Too
or
meta.
Italy.
That's
and-
way too meta.
All right, you did a great job. Thank you.
Hey.
All right, that's it. And I'll take
Thank
some-
yay! Hey,
All right,
we're
and-
still recording.
And
2
I
minutes of
recorded-
battery
I
life.
recorded the
Well done.
screen. I'm
How
stopping
much?
it now.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Cool.
Battery time.
Go ahead and hit the big button.